food and money and many other mediums of energy, when they change hands, when they transfer from individual to individual or organization to organization, they absorb the energy in which that transaction took place. Food is energy, right? Money is energy. It's supposed to be life affirming. You're supposed to take that in and let that give you more energy to create in your life, right? But when you take that energy from a source that does not care about you, that maybe even actively wishes you harm or disrespects you, the life affirming quality of that food or that money or that resource you're being given is negated and oftentimes charged with a negative energy. Hi, welcome back. This is Wanlin, La Princesse des Beaux-Arts. Today, let's talk about the spiritual implications of food, specifically why it is unsafe to eat with and accept food from people who disrespect or don't like you, that you don't like. And on the same note, on a similar note, accept money from people who don't respect you or appreciate you. So I'm making a butternut squash and sweet potato sauce for my ravioli I'm gonna have for dinner tonight. And this memory came up to my mind. I just had to share with you. So when I used to live in Paris, I was a young art student, and one of my friends would take me to, who was much older, would take me to a cinema club at one of his friend's house, and it would be followed by dinner, and we'd watch a movie, and most of the time the movie was just so not interesting, but it would be like something very intellectual that I just don't even really care about. It's just like, anyways, the lady who hosted this cinema club in her home, I could tell one day something made me realize that she really did not like or respect me at all. And that's fine, because you get to be however you want to be in your own house. That's my belief. One day, they got a new speaker, a Devialet Phantom, the speaker that looks like an egg, right? That comes in silver or gold. And it's a really nice French speaker. It looks kind of like an alien space pod on a little tripod. And the sound quality, she was showing off the sound quality with all of the attendees, her friends. And I wanted to play a song. So I stopped her in the hallway when she was scurrying between the kitchen and the living room. And I asked her like how I could connect so I can play a song. And then she just stopped, looked straight in my eyes like I'm a piece of trash, and said, "Écoute, listen, I have lots of friends here and I have a lot going on. I do not have the time or energy or resources to deal with this. So you figure it out. Like, I have things to do." And then she just left. And I understand now, looking back, that when you're in certain career fields, like being a surgeon or being, I guess, like a barrister or something, high energy, high stress like that, but also she had some personal issues going on, I think, in order to sort of survive and thrive in those environments, you need to have like a triage of priorities and energy and how you divide your attention, right? It's kind of different from being like an artist, let's say. But in that moment, she made it very clear that I did not matter at all and that I'm not one of her friends. She's told me in French, "Écoute, j'ai plein d'amis ici. J'ai beaucoup de choses," something along these, I'm paraphrasing. "J'ai beaucoup de choses à faire. Je n'ai pas l'énergie pour m'occuper de ça." But she said it in a very like brutal way. And in that moment, because I was, I think, 20 years old at the time, and she was like over twice my age, I thought it was okay for her to treat me that way because she was older than me and she was like advanced in her career and whatever, which I don't believe in hierarchies anymore, so that can go fuck itself. What I realized was, ever since that happened, going forward, when I would go to cinema club with my friend and their friends, I wouldn't eat during dinner. When the food would be served, I would just drink some water at the very most, but I wouldn't eat anything that was served. And once I even brought like a bag of Haribo candy, and I would eat that, and I wouldn't eat what was being served. But looking back now, I understand why I did that spiritually, because even though I hadn't had my spiritual awakening yet, where I became attuned to these energies and psychic realms and higher dimensions and how energy flows in our reality, even before I woke up to all of that, I could sense subconsciously that it is not safe to accept food from someone who thinks of me like this. Because what happens when you accept food or eat with people you don't like or who disrespect you, or on the same note, accept money from them or any other sort of energy or favor, is you're training your soul and your body to believe and accept that they are superior to you, or that they are necessary for your survival, or that it is okay to compromise on your integrity to appease others. And that is a really straightforward path to unhappiness and to self-betrayal. This is why sometimes if you have a bad relationship to your managers or boss at work, or people older than you, your family members, parents, or teachers, whatever, you have a really bad relationship in that, there's something extremely unclean and food is energy, right? Money is energy. It's supposed to be life affirming. You're supposed to take that in and let that give you more energy to create in your life, right? But when you take that energy from a source that does not care about you, that maybe even actively wishes you harm or disrespects you, the life-affirming quality of that food or that money or that resource you're being given is negated and oftentimes charged with a negative energy. Because when you eat with people you don't like, when you accept food or resources or help or money from people who have contempt for you, who are disrespectful or have these other negative energies around this transaction, it is first of all, not a sustainable pathway of energy for you or for them, because, this is a question also about incompatibility. I don't really believe that most people who do mean things are evil. I just think that every person has moments of incompatibility and frustration that we can hold grace for, but not tolerate. So on an energetic level, what happens when you do accept energy and help from, like me, when I was just 20 years old at this dinner party, I realized there's something so disingenuous and dirty about eating with people who really do not care about what happens to me. The same goes with sharing your time, attention, space, and resources with people who you find out they don't really care about your well-being that much. And let me tell you one thing. If someone treats you in a certain way that is just unacceptable, this is so fun. If someone treats you in a way that's just so unacceptable, it's a great sign that they do not see you at your full potential. They do not see you as someone of importance. And in their mind, in our human reptilian brain of hierarchy, staking, measuring each other up, and am I above or below this other person? What are they wearing? How's their posture? What's their family name? What do their parents do? When you're being underestimated through disrespect or anything else like this, it's great. You know why it's great? Because when you have that certainty, or when you know, like, let's say you're an artist, you're a writer, or you're doing something else, that's really great. But everyone else does not see that yet. They don't know that an elephant never forgets, right? They don't know that if they treat a young person or any other person in that disrespectful, demeaning way, they don't know who they're dealing with. Maybe you're a great writer and that's going to be the seed of one of the major scenes of your future novel. Me. And maybe that's going to go into a movie script. Maybe that's going to inspire a work of art. And you showed your ass to someone you totally underestimated, and in decades down the line, there you are in a music video. You know, like some people who don't like Taylor Swift will shade how she writes about like all the messy stuff in her past relationships. But you know, if the people she dated, or in some cases herself as well, but if there wasn't that assholery in the first place, the song would not have been written, you know? And it's the same when someone who doesn't see your full potential treats you in a demeaning way. It's great in a sense because it shows you, like, everyone projects on you what they think, what kind of person they think you are, right? And sometimes your greatest friends, your greatest supporters, admirers, they project onto you like that even better, even more ultimate version of you. And by seeing that version of you, they speed your process of becoming her or him, right? But when you share your attention, time, resources, meals, your energetic transactions with people who don't do that for you, it's kind of like eating poisoned food. Because this is so freaking delicious. And it's vegan. I can put the recipe in the description if you want. It's like sweet and savory. Oh my God, yes. What happens is, the food that you're sharing with people you don't like, the money you accept from people who don't hold any regard for you, any other resources or energy, it's subconsciously saying a lot of things. One of them is saying that they're allowed to disrespect you because they gave you that energy, and it cancels it out. So food has a lot of energetic implication throughout history and in spells. You know why some people, especially in a more like Haitian or indigenous cultures, they don't accept food from strangers? You know, most people, unless if you're a monk and you live off of like those handouts culturally, right? I think like if we're living in the US or whatever, most of us aren't a monk, right? Living off a plate or two plates of volunteer food every day, right? So what happens is giving someone food is a form of karmic clearing. When you give someone energy, you are clearing away some of your negative karma because you're giving out your energy. You're not taking it and you're giving it out. But sometimes people do this in corrupted ways. So in the Middle Ages, in medieval times, there was this profession called sin eaters. And these sinner eaters were people who would travel to funerals and then eat food that would be placed on the dead person's coffin. So the food would absorb the negative karma and sins of the deceased. And then these sin eaters would eat that food and absorb these sins so that the deceased people, the dead people, could go to heaven. This sounds like strange, grotesque, bizarre, not extremely logical to some people, but the energetic implication of this reveals so much about what food means for humans and how subconsciously we all know how like these transfers of energy work. That's why you don't feel comfortable when in a relationship, for example, or in a friendship, one person is always giving their energy or gifts or time to the other person. The other person eventually feels uncomfortable because it's not balanced, right? So in any sort of energetic transaction, there needs to be harmony so that both sides feel valued, appreciated, and supportive. supported as well. But when you have these energetic transactions like eating or money changing hands attached with negative emotions like, I gave you this, so I'm allowed to disrespect you, or you took this from me, so I'm allowed to treat you in this way. For example, you're eating my food in my house, or you're taking my money to live, so I can treat you this way. That is such an unclean energy. And let me tell you something, food and money and many other mediums of energy, when they change hands, when they transfer from individual to individual or organization to organization, they absorb the energy in which that transaction took place. So, for example, if you're paying a bill or you're buying something at a store with this feeling like, oh my God, I have no money. How am I gonna make things work? I can't really relate to this. I'm trying my best to act, okay? Oh my God, how am I gonna make ends meet? Why is this so expensive? Fuck. When you're paying with that mentality, that energy you're giving into the transaction, when you pay for the items, it goes into the thing you buy. Because then you eat it, then you use it, then you consume it. And if someone pays you for doing something like that you really didn't like, let's say you did something super shady and someone paid you a large amount of money for it because it was super shady. When you take that money, your soul understands how unclean that feels because that money has been tagged with the emotion of the person who gave it to you and the emotion in which you took that money. So a lot of these invisible thoughts are floating around the money or the food or the objects, right? Like, oh my God, I have no other means to support myself. Oh my God, like this is what life is. It's all suffering. Or why do I have to do this? It's horrible, but this is the only way I can survive. All of those negative emotions, they're being sucked into that money, that food, in whatever medium of energy exchange you want to use as a metaphor here. So, in honor of all the sin eaters from the Middle Ages, in honor of all the beautiful meals I get to enjoy that you get to enjoy, let's take a time to really be conscious and appreciative of everything we consume and everything we receive from the world, and receive and eat and consume with joy and appreciation and gratitude, and to not feel obliged to tolerate certain things just because someone gave you something. That's how financial abuse starts. That's how bullying unfolds, you know? So that's why, that's just one little snippet of life that I'm trying to harmonize for all of us today. And I hope you really apply this and notice this in your life. Let me know in the comments if something similar has happened to you, where you were eating with, or you like took a job, I don't know, whatever, internship with a company that just really did not respect you, or like attend an event and ate with people who you did not know but they didn't like you or whatever, and you felt unclean afterwards. Or on the other hand, maybe you find that meals with your friends, that people you truly love, they're so much more enjoyable, right? And when you do work you really love, then it's so much more enjoyable. Like making money from it seems like a bonus, right? Yeah, that's it for today's video. You can find me on Instagram under La Princesse des Beaux-Arts. And if you like spirituality, lifestyle, and art content from my life as a young artist, you can subscribe and follow me on my great adventure. I love you all. Okay, and by the way, these earrings are so beautiful. They're from my friend, a wonderful jewelry designer in Paris. And her brand is called Studio Diane. And I'll put the link below. Not sponsored at all. This is a beautiful birthday present. And it's rock crystal with, I think it's like allergen friendly. It's super well made and just so elegant. All right. Have a beautiful evening. I'm gonna go enjoy dinner now. Bye. Au revoir. Bisous.